Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. The final month of the year, and many arts and entertainment facilities are wrapping up their difficult years. The last hurrah for a very sad year, but these companies still manage to chug along. I'll also be discussing movies one can watch on Netflix and on demand, and giving a history of the city of North Adams. First, it's time for this week's trivia question, which will be answered during our history segment. This week's question is, which famed comic book artist is a graduate of Drury High School in North Adams? Now, for this week's local entertainment headlines. Berkshire Grown has announced the launch of its 2020-2021 holiday and winter markets. They will both be at new locations this year. First, the holiday market will be taking place for one day only, December 20th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This will be located at Greylock's Works at 508 State Road in North Adams. Winter markets will also run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., but on various dates: December 19th, January 16th, February 20th, March 27th, and April 10th. This will be at Icenear Camp at 53 Brookside Road in Great Barrington. Both of these markets will feature an abundance of locally grown and produced foods in the Berkshires. Admission to the markets is free, and SNAP and EBT are accepted. Please note that no food or drink can be consumed in the market area. You must wait until you are home to eat the food. Also, the number of visitors allowed will vary according to state and local health regulations, depending on the current COVID rules in place. Masks and face coverings are required, and shoppers must follow foot traffic patterns. The Berkshire Theatre Group will be staging the play Holiday Memories at the Unicorn Theatre in Stockbridge during the holiday season. Inspired by original playwright Truman Capote's autobiographical short story about growing up in Alabama, Holiday Memories recounts a friendship between Buddy and his cousin Sook. Holiday Memories shows how the two family members struggle through their differences, as well as the importance of shared humanity. Holiday Memories will be held outside, weather permitting. Act 1 and 2 will each run about 30 minutes, and during intermission, members will be invited indoor the barn for drinks and treats. Socially distant, of course. It will be taking place from November 28th through December 20th. Shows will only run Fridays through Sundays. Friday and Saturday performances start at 6:30 p.m. and the Sunday performances begin at 3 p.m. Tickets for all shows cost $50 with a $4 service charge, and must be purchased online at berkshiretheatregroup.org. Make sure to buy your tickets early because they will sell out fast. What would the holidays be without Christmas trees? Pittsfield has received its first tree to be placed in Park Square. It came from the Car Hardware store on Thursday, November 19th in North Adams. They immediately donated it to the Pittsfield Park Square to be put in place for the tree lighting. This is the first of many Christmas trees that will be coming in for the lighting. There is still not a decision on whether it will take place with crowd restrictions in place, or whether it will be held virtually. If you have any questions about the tree lighting, or if you would like to donate a tree, contact Becky Manship, Pittsfield's Recreation and Special Events Coordinator at 413-499-9371 or email via parks@pittsfieldcityofpittsfield.org. It's now time for this week's movie segment. More movies have been taking the on-demand route than ever before. This week there are 2 new films, both of which took very difficult and different treks to make it on demand. The first of these is Let Him Go. In this movie, an ex-sheriff and his wife must rescue their grandson from a dangerous family living off the grid. This movie was in some theaters a couple of weeks back, but the rise in COVID cases throughout the country prompted studio executives to rethink their plan and put it on demand instead. This movie stars Diane Lane, Kevin Costner, Kaylee Carter, and Leslie Manville, and is directed by Thomas Bachua. The other movie on demand is Unhinged. This is a movie that has been mentioned several times on WWHEN because of its constant shifting dates. Another possible reason for this is because this movie deals with rage, something that in today's society might not be a good thing to put on the movie screen. In any case, during Unhinged, a single mother angers a fellow driver during rush hour. This initial case of road rage quickly escalates into full-blown terror as he discovers his plan for revenge. Unhinged stars Russell Crowe, Karen Pistorius, Gabrielle Bateman, and Jimmy Simpson, and is directed by Derek Forte. Prices on these movies vary. Because Unhinged was able to have a short theatrical run, it is now the regular on-demand price of $6.99. However, because of Let Him Go's decision to go to on-demand fairly quickly after being in the theaters, the price is a full $19.99. In addition to the usual on-demand movies, people are now turning to sites like Netflix for watching movies. The website Collider.com has given a list of the top 85 movies to stream right now on Netflix. These movies include, but are not limited to, the following: the Ocean's 11 series, Moneyball, Fargo, A Knight's Tale, the Back to the Future trilogy, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Nightcrawler, and more. Netflix is always changing what's available, so check the website shown here for more information. It may be snowless in the Berkshires right now, but trails in the Berkshires will be starting soon. 2 of the most popular ones are the Berkshire East Ski Resort area, located at 66 Thunder Road in Charlemont, just outside the Berkshires, and Otis Ridge Ski Resort at 159 Monterey Road in Otis. Both of these resorts are known for their natural beauty and have a combined 65 different trails for beginners and ski experts. Hours on the trails vary, as they are depending on COVID rules and regulations. But as a rule of thumb, wear face coverings and/or masks at all times, stay 6 feet apart, and avoid bringing large parties of 10 or more. Also, if anyone in your party feels sick, you can cancel at any time. Ticket prices and ways of purchasing tickets vary. Visit BerkshireEast.com and OtisRidge.com respectively for more information about the ski resorts and their plans to open. Continuing our road trip is a trip to Six Flags in Agawam, Massachusetts. Now, it may seem a little strange to be talking about an amusement park during the holidays, but like Springfield in last week's episode, they too are having a light show. According to its website, quote, Holiday in the Park returned November 27th as Holiday in the Park Lights, a reimagined experience featuring over 1 million dazzling lights plus entertainment. While our world-class rides will not be open during Holiday in the Park Lights, we've planned some exciting holiday experiences you and your family will enjoy, end quote. This has been going on almost every year since the park's inception, and it has proven to be one of the most popular events there. The Holiday in the Park Light Show will be running through the month of December on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and will run the entire last week of 2020. Attendance will be limited, so make sure to pick up your tickets now. This is a walkthrough event only. Rides will remain closed during COVID-19, according to Massachusetts rules and regulations. One-day tickets cost $19.99 for adults and $11.99 for children. Please make sure to also wear masks and/or face coverings and stay 6 feet apart. It's now time for this week's history portion of WWHCN. This week we are going to be discussing the wide, complex history of the city of North Adams, one of only 2 cities in Berkshire County. In the beginning, 1739 to be exact, 3 townships in what is now known as Western Massachusetts were surveyed. Clarksburg, East Hoosick, now known as North Adams and Adams, and West Hoosick, now known as Williamstown. Interestingly, the Hoosicks were supposed to be in Vermont, but a slight error in calculation put them in Massachusetts. It was officially settled in 1745 and was renamed Adams a few years later. The name comes from Samuel Adams, who was one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence. Adams and North Adams were originally one large town. However, by 1875, the population of Adams was getting too big to be considered a town. 3 years later, the town was officially split into Adams and North Adams. The border between the two is now located on State Road, just before the Super Walmart. North Adams was originally known as a mill town and its manufacturing of textiles. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, businesses in North Adams included shoe manufacturers, a brickyard, a sawmill, and iron manufacturers, among others. In fact, 3 mill villages were created to take advantage of the local Hoosick River's power. They were named Blackington, Greylock, and Brightonville. For many years, one of the biggest businesses in North Adams was Sprague Electric. Sprague was best known for making a large line of capacitors, devices that store electrical energy. One of their most famous inventions was the tantalanium capacitor, which allows them to achieve high values of electron storage. Sprague Electric was founded by Robert C. Sprague, who spent $25,000 of his savings to open the company at his hometown in Quincy, Massachusetts. By 1929, Sprague realized he needed a bigger facility, so he purchased the plant on Beaver Street in North Adams. During the war years, Sprague Electric was one of Western Massachusetts' highest employers, as the need for electricity during the wartime increased 7-fold. After the war, it began expanding nationwide. Besides North Adams, there were manufacturing plants in North Carolina, New Hampshire, Vermont, Wisconsin, Virginia, Maryland, and California. For many years, North Adams and Sprague worked together peacefully. However, by the 1970s, the relationship began to sour. Decades started off on the wrong foot when a massive strike lasted 10 weeks, which affected all areas of the facilities. The relationship between the two torpedoed, and the economy of Sprague also changed. By the 1980s, many electronic assembly plants were overseas. There was more inclination to buy local or from areas closer to assembly. This was an area Sprague Electric could not compete in, and in 1985 it was announced that the Sprague Division headquarters would move to Lexington, Massachusetts, and the North Adams plant would close down. There is a happy ending to Sprague. In 1986, Thomas Krenz, who was the director of the Williams College Museum of Art at the time, was looking for an exhibit space for large-scale work. Then North Adams Mayor John Barrett III suggested the empty Sprague facility. 13 long years later, this building became Mass MoCA. It represented a shift in North Adams. Instead of now being known as just a mill town, it now had an arts history as well, as you've seen on WWHEN. North Adams operates its own public school system. Its elementary schools serve grades kindergarten through the 6th, while its high school serves grades 7th through the 12th. The reason for this is because grades 7 and 8 serve as a middle school model within a high school setting. There are 3 elementary schools. The first is Brighton Elementary School, which is named after one of the mill villages that I mentioned earlier, and is the oldest of the elementary schools. It is located at 20 Barber Road. The second elementary school is Colgrove Elementary School. It is named after North Adams resident Jeremiah Colgrove, who was essential to the creation of North Adams, and is located at 24 Church Street. The last elementary school is Greylock Elementary School, located at 100 Phelps Ave. As its name suggests, it is named after the famed Mount Greylock, Massachusetts' highest elevation point. It is currently closed to all in-person learning, as it is undergoing significant construction. But with the pandemic, this may take longer than expected. The high school, with the 6th and 7th Academy, is Drury, and is located at 1130 Church Street. It is named after Nathan Drury, a farmer from the city who supported public education in the 19th century. It is nicknamed Our Mother on the Hill because of how it is located on top of a hill. Its sports teams are named the Blue Devils, partially inspired by the athletic success of the University of Duke. Many different political figures in Massachusetts have graduated from Drury High School. These have included former Massachusetts Attorney General Martha Coakley, former Governor Jane Swift, and members of the Massachusetts House of Representatives such as Daniel Bosley and Gallian Caridi. Drury also provides the answer to this week's trivia question. As a reminder, this week's question was, which famed comic book artist is a graduate of Drury High School in North Adams? The answer is Peter Laird. Laird is best known for his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic, which have been adapted into a successful cartoon series, movie franchises, and toys. He is a North Adams native who graduated from Drury in 1972, eventually settling in New Hampshire to work at a local newspaper. In the 80s, he began writing the Turtles comic that would make him unexpectedly famous. The other high school located in North Adams is McCann Technical High School. It was the first vocational school in the state of Massachusetts and was founded in 1958. It is named after Charles H. McCann, who supported vocational technical education. McCann worked at the previously discussed Sprague Electrical Company for many years. Unfortunately, he passed away before he saw what McCann Tech would come. McCann has 9 technical majors for high school students. They are Automotive, Business Technology, Carpentry, Computer-Assisted Design, Culinary Arts, Electricity, Information Technology, Machine Technology, and Metal Fabrication. There are also 5 post-secondary education programs offered for non-traditional students. These are cosmetology, medical assistant, dental assistant, practical nursing, and surgical technology. McCann is the only high school in the Berkshires that is an all-vocational school. Its sports teams are known as the Hornets, and their colors are green and white. If you are curious about North Adams' college, Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, or MCLA, make sure to watch my July 15th episode on YouTube for all the information on the history of MCLA. Much like other cities and towns in Berkshire County, North Adams has a unique baseball history. It is home to the North Adams Steeplecats, a collegiate summer team that plays at the Joe Wolf Field. They have been playing there since 2002 in the New England Collegiate Baseball League, except for 2020, of course, which was canceled due to the pandemic. They have sent a total of 6 players to the major leagues. North Adams is also home to one of 2 Baseball Hall of Famers born in Berkshire County. Jack Chesbro is considered to be one of the great early pitchers in MLB history. He was born in the village of Hoytonville, then a village in North Adams. He began playing sandlot ball at an early age, where he was noticed by several teams. His 1904 season is considered to be one of the all-time greats. That year, he won an astonishing 41 games. This record will likely never be broken, because pitchers today don't even start 41 games. It's more common for them to pitch 35 games in a season. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1946, 15 years after his passing. It would be another 60 years before a Berkshire County native would be inducted. On a later episode, I'll be discussing the Pittsfield native that was inducted into the Hall of Fame. That ends this week's episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. You can watch this week's episode on channel 1301 of PCTV, CTSB TV, and NBCTC. Airtimes on all 3 of these networks vary. Visit the websites shown here for more information. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at RT Wehry. Next week, I'll be having a 2-week Christmas special, having a year-end special reviewing 2020. Thank you.